My name is Kristjan Sokoli. I'm in Albania, Eastern Europe. Moved to the U.S. when I was 9 years old. Played football in Buffalo at the University of Buffalo. Seahawks, Colts, Giants. About a month with the Saints as well.
Are you that confident in your Cowboys that you really think they're gonna dominate?
Stop it!
Yeah, it was pretty good. That was awesome. Get to Memphis for the USFL season, obviously. I forget how we started talking, but I ended up telling him my life story and his life story and how he's RVing all around the country. I think, and it's probably just a matter of time before everybody has really high quality grass. I mean, everybody has grass, has high quality grass in the NFL.
Welcome everybody to episode 108. How are we doing today? Glad to have everybody on. We're going to have a great one today. We have another special guest joining us for talking all NFL, a bunch of great stuff. Mr. former NFL Star Kristjan Sokoli joining us today. Welcome to have you on, my guy. Glad to have you. Just want to come over and introduce yourself. And how you been?
I've been good. Thank you for having me, guys.
No problem.
Sir.
Heard about our show through a strange source, my dad actually. But he hopped on and wanted to talk some football, which we're about to. Before we dive into week one, though, Jay, how are you? How you been?
Oh man, I'm doing great. Ready to get into it. Excited for our guest here. Excited to get to learn about you, and ready to talk some sports, man.
Absolutely.
The Miami Dolphins pull up, and Tulip turned the ball over. And crew. Right now, I feel like next. Listen, I feel like next
give me the right name. He's not gonna
next to the MVP right now.
We have company.
Tyreek Hill.
Give me the right name.
Listen, Chris.
We have company.
He's never going to die.
Right name.
The Dolphins played the Chargers, and the Dolphins won absolute nail biter, 36-34. In recap of this, before I pass it to Glenn, I feel like we give our guest some time to introduce himself. Obviously, you did, but give him a chance to, if you're down with it, get to learn a little bit more about you. That's fine.
The floor is yours, my guy.
All right. Appreciate it, Jay. Even though I think Thursday Night Football is going to be more exciting for the people watching, listening. My name is Kristjan Sokoli. I was born in Albania, Eastern Europe. Moved to the U.S. when I was 9 years old. Family moved here first, and then me and my brother a couple years later. Grew up in New Jersey. Played football in Buffalo at the University of Buffalo, the State University of New York. Went on to play in the NFL for about 4 years. Seahawks, Colts, Giants, about a month with the Saints as well. And then I've gone between finance and trying to get back in the NFL for about the last 3 years here. So thanks for having me. Looking forward to talking some sports.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So
great.
Out of those, for the people at home, what position were you?
I was a defensive lineman growing up. Played defensive line at Buffalo, and then actually the Seahawks wanted to move me to offensive line, so they requested to move me to offensive line before the draft. You know, me and my agent decided that if we got drafted, we'd be happy to play offensive line, and I was very fortunate. They drafted me in the 6th round, 2015, and we went on with that plan. Went and played guard, a little bit of center with the Seahawks. Then the next year, played on the Colts at defensive line, and then offensive line on the Saints, and then defensive line on the Giants. Definitely didn't plan it out to be back and forth that way, but it was a hell of a journey.
Yes, sir. Out of O-line, D-line, which one would you say you like? Your favorite? I kind of think I got an answer here, but I want to. What's yours?
Yeah, 27-year-old Christian, defensive line. 32, I'll be 32 in a couple of weeks, offensive line. You know, it's defensive line is a lot more physically demanding, so you definitely got to have the juice for it. You know, there are pros and cons, right? Defensive line, you try to wreak havoc, and you got to constantly be go, 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 which is also awesome because it's kind of like if you're getting off the rock and you're breaking glass and you're being super aggressive at D-line every play, you almost can't go wrong. Whereas offensive line is like the opposite. At offensive line, if you're being super aggressive every play and you're out of control a little bit, you're probably going to go wrong. So offensive line is, to me, offensive line, I mean, they're both martial arts, and any position is a skill and a martial art. But what I mean by martial art is obviously it's very technically savvy. It's important to be very good at what you do. But I feel like offensive line is even more that. It's a very unnatural position, and you've got to be really in tune with your technique, body control, assignments. So it's much more of a team game, right? And much more of a mental game, I'd say.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Having a cousin of mine, he I think he's going to retire this year. His name is AJ Can. Played at the University of South Carolina. He went pro for the Jags. Then he got traded to. He been on the Jags for a couple years, and he got traded to the Texans. And just hearing him talk about it, it's like how I look at it is offensive line. It's like you guys are like the protectors. Obviously, you protect the quarterback and stuff like that, but you guys are more like the one. A lot of people don't seem to understand. I think a lot of skill gets tied into playing offensive line. Like people think, oh, just go out there, just block. Oh, no, I think a lot of skill is crafted into doing that. Going to pick up the blitz, the guy in front of you, like you say, is he trying to cut in front of your face? Is he trying to bull rush you? What kind of move is he going to use? A swim move, spin move off the line, like all that stuff. Obviously, without holding. So I think it's a lot of technique is a lot of sound technique is definitely required. And obviously defensive line, I feel like I thought you was gonna go defensive line, but you said 27-year-old, you would definitely say defensive line. Just being able to unleash, just being able to like how you mentioned, you go full speed ahead every time, every play. You almost really can't go wrong. Now obviously you go too far full speed ahead up upfield, and next thing you know the guy cuts right up under you, and then now if you had containment or something, then obviously that's busted. But I mean, for the most part, yeah, if you on defensive line, you just full throttle, go, stop the run, get to the quarterback, get to the football. And I think if I could play defensive lineman, I'd love to. Just put me on the edge and let me come off the edge, guns are blazing.
Line, what I was saying, you really can't go wrong, even if they so quote unquote get around you and you don't contain the edge. For the most part, if you get knocked back, you're resetting the line of scrimmage. The running back has to adjust too much, and you really did more than your job.
All right. Well, yeah, that's a great breakdown of it.
Did you play some football, Jay?
Oh yeah, I played football in high school. I played football. I played DB primarily. I kind of spent my time in high school kind of split between corner and safety. Obviously, I played a little bit of return as well. I was at quarterback for like maybe a week of practice, but played a decent amount of receiver. And I went to college. I went to Newberry College to play ball, but essentially, I was tasked with either putting money in my pocket or playing football. So, chose to put some money in my pocket, and that's been that on that. But yeah,
USCB.
Yeah, I did. That's how I met Glenn. If I would have been still playing ball, I wouldn't have met Glenn. But
so what? Excuse me, I'm gonna put some AC on because it's getting hot in here. But how did you guys meet, if you don't mind? And how did you guys link up?
Oh man, Glenn, I'm gonna start the story off. I'm gonna let you finish it. But right. So we were both in the gym. We were in the basketball gym. This is my first semester at USCB. This is the spring semester. Whatever year it was, it was Glenn's freshman year. I forgot what year it was, but I know it was definitely my first. Yeah, 2020. It was like right smack dab right before COVID. So so we were in there shooting. I'm on one side, he's on the other. So I believe we start. I think we were talking or whatever. I know me personally, I would look like he's on one side of the gym, I'm on the other. You shoot a shot, make it. I started looking back, so I shoot a shot, I make it. I just want to see if he seen me. Type kind of like trying to build a mental rivalry or something. But yeah, and then we played 1-on-1 and became best of buds ever since.
Yep, it was your traditional guys meeting. Not too many words. It was just we're playing, we're trying to look better, and then next thing you know, we're just, hey, you want to play? Yeah. And about 3 words were spoken, and between that, most of them was just, hey, good shot, nice move, stuff like that. But we ended up playing for like an hour and a half back and forth. And it was good. My incarnation to USCB, it was pretty cool to see. They're like, all right, let's see how the talent is out here. I know how it is over there. But so we played for a good bit, but then I had some good teams forming up with both basketball and football. It was a lot of fun, but a good time. It's been good ever since,
Yeah.
It's been awesome. Great time. But yeah. All right.
A lot of Jay. I don't know if you're from the East Coast. Obviously, I met Glenn's dad. I know he's from Philly, but I feel like there's a lot of East Coast people that go to USC and Northeast especially.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I think it's a good school for sure. I transferred there. I think like I said, I went to Claflin a semester before I went to USCB, which is a school down in Orangeburg, South Carolina. And like I said, it's a very beautiful place. It's quiet enough, and it's also like I felt like the campus was small, but it was also spacious at the same time.
On the up for sure. I mean, it's one of those. They've been getting a whole bunch of good stuff, so it's a fast growing campus. But yeah, it was as we were there, it kept getting bigger and bigger.
I got a call out of nowhere.
Well, I never heard the full. I heard the one side of the story. If you want to tell, how did the whole meeting go? With I heard you ran my dad wild on the town. It was crazy. He was trying to.
So actually,
partying all night. Huh?
Yeah, it was pretty good. That was awesome. It was the night before I got to Memphis. So I'm driving to Memphis about March to get to Memphis for the USFL season, obviously. And I decided to stop in Nashville. Nice place to stop in between. I love Nashville, great town. Mm-hmm. Roll into the bar, sit down. Soul Cowboy ends up sitting next to me over there. Actually, I sat next to him. He was, and then I forget how we started talking, but I ended up telling him my life story and his life story and the great landscaping business he built. I remember him telling me about that. I thought that was, pretty awesome story, and how he's RVing all around the country. I think you definitely got to plug your dad here. I'm sure you're doing plenty about him RVing and YouTubing about it.
Yeah, I do. I'm a little jealous though that he has more subscribers on YouTube than we do, and he doesn't even try. It's amazing. It's just that he just gets them.
That's awesome. I saw some of his videos. Last time I watched his videos was like June. I don't know if he's improved, but it definitely looked like a dad that didn't know anything about content. Was recording things randomly, but people buy authenticity,
He'll text me all the time, be like, "You this good?" Yeah, and just sends it. He's just scrolling around. He does his own narrating. It's literally just a dad got access to a YouTube channel and got ran wild. It's dad going wild on YouTube.
That's awesome, though. That's awesome.
It's funny to see.
Good for him that he's doing that. Yeah. And then we did go to Jason Aldean's. We did hang out there quite a bit. Yeah, it was a good night. And then he ended up like true dad mode. I think he left at about midnight. For whatever it's worth. I was definitely, Glenn, I was trying to get him to have a wild, crazy night, but I think about midnight, he's like, you know what? It's time to go. I was like, I understand, Mr. Master.
I appreciate the hustle, though. I've been trying to get him to go crazy, too, so I'm glad I'm not the only one. It's very good. That's awesome. Yeah, no, he was excited. He told me, he said, hey, he just brought us over. I met this guy the other day, and he goes, I was like, oh, that's cool. He goes, yeah. And he kept telling me, like, a tank, like 6'5", just big, like, just insane. He kept going on and on. Like, I was like, yeah, that's pretty impressive coming from my dad, because he's got some pretty good stock to him. So yeah. But yeah, no, it was awesome. He was super excited. He said it was a fun time, and yeah, glad we were able to make this happen though. It was a good connection right there. But yeah.
Absolutely.
I will plug it again. The Midlife Crisis Tour.
Maybe you could help me out in the future too with this. I think like 90% of the population, I want to start a podcast at some point, but haven't got around to it, what you guys have. So that's why I was saying in the beginning, congrats on 1 year, because a lot of people start a podcast. It's hard to stick with it. So great job, and maybe you'll be able to help me out with how I should go about mine. Maybe a couple. Yeah, it's all about just doing it right.
Absolutely.
Yes,
we're here for that all the way. 100%.
Oh yeah, definitely. You need you got any questions, anything like that? Need some help? We're definitely gonna be here for you.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate it. And then where are you guys based at now?
So right now, I'm based out of Charleston, Glenn.
And I'm in Hilton Head right now, so we can just do all of our shows via online. We do have one episode where we linked up for our 100th episode and did it in person, but yeah, we just do it via online.
Cool.
That's why everybody always asks. I'll be like, hey, if I'm ever talking about the show, like, hey, you guys ever want to hop on an episode, just let us know. I'll be like, oh, well, how will we be able to travel? I'll be like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
We don't even live in the same place, and we get it done. So, yeah.
Very nice.
But it's fun. Been fun. I mean, our in-person one got a lot of love, so surprise alert. Hint, we might be doing another one of those shortly.
Oh yeah,
What?
definitely.
Who said that? Jay, did you say that?
Yes, sir. No, I think with some news I'm about to be getting. I'm not going to, obviously I'll tell you whenever it happens, but yeah, we'll definitely be linking up a whole lot more after probably about 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Gonna be good. And
Yes,
in that
sir.
time, the NFL season's gonna be ramped up. So, if you guys want, we can dive into that. Talk about everything that happened in this crazy week 1. Start wherever you guys like, since it is y'all's call if you decide it that way. Yeah. Where do you want to dive in tonight?
So I mean, looking at it, you guys were about to dive into some Lions Chiefs Thursday night football here, so I feel like we should just touch on that. Obviously, first game of the season, Thursday night football. Everybody around the world's tuned in. Football season's back. A lot of narratives this season. Obviously, can the Chiefs repeat? For the Lions, it's how good now are the Lions? Aaron Rodgers is out of the division. Now you got Kirk Cousins, you got Justin Fields, you got Jordan Love, and you have Jared Goff. And I feel like the Lions put up a absolutely stellar performance, getting the victory over the Chiefs 21-20 in Thursday night football. Huge shocker. I don't think anyone really truly expected for the Chiefs to lose. I would say personally, nobody expected for the Chiefs to lose prior to the news, obviously, that they didn't get the deal done with their star defensive guy, and they also, Kelsey was out for injury. But I'm opening up the floor to you guys, Chris. What was your reaction to Lions Chiefs Thursday night football?
Yeah, I thought it was obviously impressive that the Lions got the win. My buddy was kind of mentioning how he's like, the Chiefs look a little off, and I was like, honestly, I don't think they look that off. I think the Lions are just playing good football as well. In the first half especially, I'm going to be honest, I paid more attention in the first half of that game. I didn't really catch fourth quarter, and I caught a little bit of the third quarter, but in the first half, Chiefs offensive line was protecting well, which I think is something that is overlooked a lot, because obviously Mahomes is very talented and he moves around a lot and makes plays, but we forget that the Chiefs have a pretty good offensive line. I think it was showing in that game, especially that one. They had that passing touchdown. I think it was like the 2-yard passing touchdown on the goal line. It's little things that as a big guy you see this. It's probably weird that I'm even bringing this up, but I think he got like a good 5 seconds to just sit in the pocket and find his guy. That's extremely impressive on the offensive line's part. And it's also very impressive on Mahomes' part. For a quarterback that is mobile like him and likes to get out of the pocket, and he's shown this plenty of times, so it's not anything new, but for him to be able to sit in the pocket and kind of look through his progressions and stay patient and let his offensive line work for him, and that's why he's Patrick Mahomes, So I felt like that was trademark. It was like one of those subtle things where it's like Derek Jeter taking a walk, it wasn't a home run, it wasn't anything crazy, but it's like, that's why he's Derek Jeter. And to me, it was like, that's why they're the Chiefs. And I was like, dude, the Chiefs are fine. They have this game, even though the Lions are putting up a good fight. And then, the Lions put up more than a good fight. They won.
I really like how you said it's not always, it's like just taking a walk. It's nice and simple, and that's what separates the greats, because they don't freak out and feel like they have to make a play and go nuts. Mahomes just stays calm, lets his assets work for him and take advantage of
Yep.
it. Still, whether he got out of the pocket, made a great play, and dove for the end zone, or just stayed in the pocket and throw, it's still 7 points. So it's still 6 points. So it really doesn't matter either way. But yeah,
So,
big win. The Lions surprised me too. Not gonna lie.
Jay, you made a good point for me. I haven't done as good of a job of following football, for no particular reason much. I mean, I just don't, anyway, I don't know. I enjoy watching it here and there, but that's an interesting point. The quarterbacks that are in that division now, it's pretty interesting to see who will come out on top, and obviously Aaron Rodgers is out of there. I'm sorry, I'm going to sound like the fan that doesn't know football. Maybe I'm supposed to be the expert, but Justin Fields, this is his second year, right?
Third. So it's his third
yeah.
Because last year first game
Second full year.
Second full. He got hurt his first year.
Well, he didn't play.
How did he look? How did he look last year? I mean, do you guys recall?
CJ Stroud played at least 2 years. Yeah.
He looked at best. He didn't look too. He looks like if he plays bad this year, I think his job is in jeopardy. So I mean, he'll probably more times than not he'll probably have a solid season at best. Yeah, it's his third. Yeah. So he'll probably have a solid season at best. But he looks okay. I want to ask you something about that Chiefs game. Were you, because obviously with you playing offensive line, did you see the Jawan Taylor? I think he was the guard.
Oh yeah, that is a good one.
No, he was the tackle. I'm sorry, the tackle. He kept basically jumping like pre-snap. What say you like? What do you? Was that a false start? Or are those false starts, or is that completely legal? Because I've been told that because he was also lined up too far back, like in the backfield. Like your head's supposed to be breaking the center's. I forgot what it is, but they showed and his head was clearly behind the center. Plus, on top of jumping like early, obviously, trying to block the defensive end for Detroit is no easy feat. But what say you? Like, what was your reaction to that? Because I was kind of blown away watching the game and how many times they did not get called.
Yeah, that is honestly on the refs to keep track of that and be disciplined about that. Different guys have different views on that. Some people would want the refs to be more uptight. Some people want them to let them play, and it's tough because and now in sports too. The NFL and baseball has felt this pressure for a while, but everybody wants a good production on TV and a faster game. So if you stop the game a lot for things like that, it's a drag and it's not good for the production. But it is good for competition. So I'm probably, I hate to come off. Hater's a strong word. I hate to be, a hater of the savvy offensive tackle because he is being savvy. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing. He's just doing his best to give himself the best opportunity. It's up to the ref to dictate, if he's overdoing it. Because tackles especially will jump the snap. They know the count, and they will get off a lot of the good ones right at the snap, sometimes subtly before. And it becomes a judgment call for the referee, what he's going to tolerate and what he's not. If as a referee, if you throw a flag every single time he's like subtly early, it depends. It depends how you look at it. Right? It really becomes a judgment call for the ref. But I hear you, because when it's a combination of the tackle being further back than he's supposed to and he's jumping the snap, that's when you probably should sacrifice the production quality, so to speak, and just call the flag. But on the other hand, it's savvy by that offensive tackle to use his tools that he's being given, and it could have also hurt him, but it helped him.
Right, and I'm glad you mentioned the point about like the tackles know, like they know when the ball's about to be snapped. Just the fact that he was able to get away with it all game, and it wasn't like the ball wasn't hiked. It's like almost immediately after he moved, the ball got hiked right after he moved. So like he'd take his back step, and then the ball snapped. It's one thing if he took a back step and the ball had to snap there, and you're like, what are you doing? But he took it every time. Every time he did it, the ball got hiked immediately. So it's almost like I bet like for the refs in real time, it's like you're looking at it. But as soon as you moved and the ball gets snapped, and you're just like, you let the play progress and let the play happen, and then you just go to the next play. But like I said, it was interesting just to hear some guys' perspectives on it and just see how everyone, some people felt like, and I've heard comments like that one. It's like you want to put out a good product on television, while also keeping that balance between making sure that the game is still being, truly valued for what it is. So, like I said, I feel like like me personally, I guess I'm all for putting a good product on TV for the fans. I'll be honest though, I would have liked for it to kind of get reduced a little bit. Just because I'm 100% in an understanding of, again, like I said, obviously the fans, pay to watch sports, so I definitely get it. However, like the competitiveness in me is like, like how you mentioned that coupled in with him being like a little bit in the backfield, his head's not really breaking the center, so it's like, I would like for give
another
my
thing. This is the age-old debate where I'm a purist too. I'd rather see the game. I love baseball. I would like to see 4-hour baseball games. Now,
Right.
I know that's where, the world is not anymore, or you think so. I think they're also losing their actual,
you lose your
clients
identity
that are
when you
most
do
valuable, that like their product.
Right.
But that's an age-old debate. I'm a purist, and I
For
think,
somebody that doesn't watch it, it's nuts.
even in football, it's all offensive driven. Everybody wants to see points.
Right.
So it's almost like they want to help the offensive tackles too, so they can pass pro better. Because let's face it, sacks are exciting, but you know what's more exciting? A completion that leads to a completion that leads to a touchdown. That's highlight reel. A sack is only one highlight reel. So they do really. It is entertainment at the end of the day. And that is also something that I don't like to see in sports. And I think Glenn and UJ too, all the purists that love sports, we don't want to see that. It's always been entertainment, but it should be about sport competition, and it should be about what that sport represents. It shouldn't be about highlight reels. But
Highlights, yeah. I feel like we're 100% in agreement here. Like I feel like the true football fans enjoy the purity of the sport itself. Like it's honestly, like I'm a former DB. So I'm watching the game. I'm looking at what DB's doing. I'm looking at if you're pressing, if you're off coverage, are you inside leverage, are you outside leverage? What's your first step as soon as the ball gets snapped? How are you reacting to the receiver? What are you doing whenever it's a run play? Are you just jogging to the ball? Are you sprinting to the ball? Like I'm watching stuff like that. I feel like that's the purity of the sport. I feel like everybody who's played the sport or whatever, like everybody watch. Obviously we watch the game in its totality, but we watch like the generals of our specific positions just to see, what's the guys like. I'm pretty sure, you got a young aspiring quarterbacks, young kids who watch the game as well. And, what's going to be important to those guys, what is this quarterback doing pre-huddle? What is he doing pre-snap? What is he audibling at the line of scrimmage? Like stuff like that, I feel like is what the game tries to go over and like oversee. Because like you mentioned, now it's a highlight driven league. We care about the one hand catch, the oh my God plays, the stuff that get the fans all riled up. But I feel like whenever that was kind of my viewpoint of it as well. I just didn't want to sound like I tell people all the time, I don't want to be the old guy, but I am. That's just who I am. But at the end of the day, it's like, I wanted these guys work their tails off to get to where they are. Obviously many people had long journeys to get there. I want to see these guys, have fair competition. That's all it is. It's simply about seeing fair competition and see football be celebrated in the purity of itself of the sport. So yeah, I would have liked for that to be called, but at the end of the day, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Right. The NFL made money regardless. So that's that.
For
on
me,
that.
it wasn't even like on that point real quick, and then I'm gonna switch to the baseball one real quick. But yeah, it wasn't even like so much the timing, because if you time it perfectly, that just means you're a good offensive lineman. But he wasn't lined up properly. That's the bigger issue of anything. Because if you time it right, hey, he's just good at his job. Can't aim for that. But if you're not lined up, that's one thing. But yeah, like the baseball thing, everybody says, oh, it's so great. They're promoting, oh, this game got finished in under 2 hours. Great. So the guy that paid to go watch a full baseball game only was there enjoying it for 2 hours. Wonderful. That's great. Like, what is the purpose? If you love the game of baseball, you don't care if it's 2, 4, or 6. I mean, if anything, you can just take a break. You don't watch the first 3 innings, or you don't watch innings 4 through 5 because you go do something else and you go back to the game. It's not like this major rush. Oh my God, let's move it up. It's baseball. It just doesn't move. It's not that. If you want to watch speed, you watch hockey. If you want physicality, you go to football. If you want a little bit of everything, go to basketball. I mean, legit.
So I'm not 100%.
It's just not try to change too much. And if you have something, just keep it nice and neat. And if you want to make a few changes, like they changed the shift in the MLB, which I like, shortstop plays shortstop, second place plays second base, and leads more to offense, which I nothing against that. But I mean, trying to change too much is kind of crazy. And you saw it with the offensive pass, the roughing the passer last year. That was the biggest issue. Everybody was up in arms because if you felt like if you tapped the quarterback, you were going to get flagged. So.
Even like I said, with me being a deep, obviously, I'm more of a defensive guy. But at the end of the day, you know, I played offense as well. I'm 100%. I was never a fan of it. It's like, you know, I seen a couple calls to where it's like crucial third down. Quarterback drops back, he throws. Like after he gets the ball out of his hand, a defender, preferably a lineman, he's already full steam ahead. He's trying to pull the brakes, but I mean, forward body momentum is still going to take him into the tackle. And then you see a flag get thrown. It's a you know, pass interference, man, roughing the passer. But yeah, I think all in all, what it boils down to is exactly what Chris said. As far as, you know, they want to promote offense. It's all about wild play, you know, and stuff like that. And I also think even in the baseball term, given that they try to cut a game down from 4 hours to 2, I think people want to accelerate to the happiness. They don't want to sit here and, you know, watch it in this, like watch it all play out. You know, it's almost like if you're at the movies and they want to just skip to the middle part that's good, the kind of ending part that's good, you know, where the villain loses and he, oh my God, this and that, and then the ending. You know, they don't want to sit and watch the movie anymore. And I think that's what sports fans get to as well.
I agree. It's more about offense, and it's a world where 20-second clip on social media is too long. You got to find a way to tell your message in 7 seconds. It's awful. I like to see a reversion to the mean. I'm going to make a crazy big connection here for no reason, but you know, we've been in a very strong bull market for anybody who follows the markets, and everybody follows the markets at least a little bit, right? All the memes, so everybody knows we're in a bull market. Stock's been going crazy up. Maybe crazy prediction. When this bear market finally hits, not that I'm rooting for it to hit, but it's also a little bit inevitable. You know, rates are up, there's more pressure on the economy. Maybe when the bear market hits and we have like a reversion to the mean, maybe we'll see that in sports as well. Crazy.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Reversion to reality and normality, if that's a word.
Right. I hope we can get reality in regards to a lot of stuff in the world, not just sports, but definitely sports 100%. Though that would be nice to, you know, get there, but hopefully.
Sports, just like it.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully. Right. But
we're gonna have 3-inning baseball games in about 5 years.
Yeah, it'll be
horrible.
3-inning games, 1 out per inning too.
That sounds horrible. That sounds horrible.
Final score, nothing every time.
Oh, how about? I mean, I'm sorry if you're gonna get to this, Glenn, but how about freaking robots at the football game?
You seen that the Chargers game? I mean,
that's crazy.
Yeah. They had that, and I thought it was Photoshop until I seen like multiple pictures. I'm like, what is this?
And I've really been wondering. I mean, I think I've been wondering this for like the last 5 years because I'm kind of fascinated by that. I mean, just from all the movies we see of Mock and all that, I was like, I wonder how far we are with these robots looking like humans. And I feel like I just found out. They got a lot of. I guess they got a lot of time on their hands, and they feel like making versions of us is the option. I don't know, but yeah, no, that was absolutely ridiculous.
It's nuts how they're just moving faster than we can actually. Moving too good for our too good for our kind, or whatever that first, whatever.
Too good for our own skis or something like that.
Yeah. Well, you're the king of analogies, so you'll be able to come
right. I'll find
too good for our own doing. Too good for our own doing. I got it.
Right.
Let's go. Too good for that would have bothered me. Good. That is. Yeah, we're moving a little too fast, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, you said Chargers. Speaking of Chargers, I've been dying to hear about this. This man would not answer my calls, no matter what. I cannot wait to discuss this. I want to do the intro because, or do I want to give it to Jay?
I'll do it. I got it. No, I have no issue with doing it.
A fair and honest intro.
Yeah. I'll go fair and honest. So my San Diego, I call them San Diego Chargers still. My Chargers had the Miami Dolphins pull up, and Tulip turn the ball over. And crew. Right now, I feel like next.
Right
Listen,
name.
I feel like next
Give me the right name. He's not going
next to the MVP right now.
We have company.
Tyreek Hill.
Give me the right name.
Listen, Chris,
We have company.
he's never going to die this time. The Dolphins played the Chargers, and the Dolphins won absolute nail biter, 36-34. In recap of this, before I pass it to Glenn, my Chargers, like I said, obviously, again, being the defensive guy that I am, preferably defensive backfield. I don't know exactly what we do in the secondary. It looked like it's week one, so I'm prefacing everything by week one is week one. We got 17, 16 more of these to go. However, we looked absolutely atrocious, and right now I feel like the leader for MVP, Tyreek Hill, put on an absolute demolition job every ball he caught. That was that. I will give Tua his respects in this regards. He had an absolute excellent game, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 466 yards on the NFL defense, which is, again, it's my defense. It's what happened to be my defense, right? So I will give him his respects there. I feel like Herbert had a solid game, only incompleted 10 passes, 23 for 33. But obviously it wasn't enough to pull it out. Lost by 2. An absolute back and forth game, a game that was all offense, if you ask me. But Glenn, since you're the resident Tua supporter here, I gave Tua his props. He played an excellent game, even if it was dump passes to Tyreek Hill and he turned it up for like 50. But what say you? What is your reaction to my team falling to the team that you like the quarterback of so much that you didn't even pick him in fantasy football? What is your reaction to the Chargers 2-point loss?
My reaction was what it should have been for most. I believe I called it correctly. That Tua touchdown is his name. Absolutely balled. He is the 4th highest yards in a Week 1 debut in all time. So that's pretty nice as well. Only 2 turnovers, the fumble and the interception, which was a little iffy, but again, sometimes happens that way. 466 yards, 3 touchdowns. I know you're going to say they were all dump-offs, but if you watch, it's Tyreek Hill across the middle, 20 yards, not a single dump-off. We're all just coming across the yards. All day. Tua, calm. He does it so subtly. Like, you don't even notice he's throwing for 400. He's that good, you don't even notice he's throwing for 460 yards. But a huge win. My prediction was the reason I didn't pick the Dolphins to make the postseason is just because their defense is so bad, and there's going to be games where Tua does this and they're going to lose because their defense let up 37 points instead of 34. But I think that Tua really dominated, and the Chargers just defensive side. I mean, Herbo didn't play astonishing out of this mind, but he still had only 10 incompletions, 230 yards, and two total touchdowns. So he played well. In my book, Eckler had a great game to start the year, having that big 55-yard carry in the second half. Or no, it was the second quarter. Then drove down the field. But I think they just struggled a little bit on the defensive, a little too much on the defensive side. And Tua and Tyreek got the job done. Tua touchdown, that is. But
I don't think it was Tua and Tyreek. I think it was just Tyreek. I mean, you sit here and you say he hit. Like, just think about that. He hit Tyreek Hill across the middle of the field, crossing. Whenever you got almost the fastest man, one of the fastest people alive, crossing the middle of the field, what do you expect DBs to do? I mean, like, what are we out here doing? That's like a Nissan chasing a Lamborghini. Like, what are we supposed to do here? Like, we're not going to catch him. Of course we're not. I mean, I feel like you got.
All right. Can I make a point?
Yeah.
We take away Tyreek Hill. He had 215 yards. We take away his. Tua now throws for 50 yards. He still threw more. He still threw more than Justin Herbert, and you take away his.
Oh no, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm not arguing that. But if you take away Tyreek Hill, you're taking away 2 touchdowns. You guys lose by at least 10. You gotta lose by at least 10. Listen, if you give me just Jalen Waddle's going to do his thing. I got massive respect for Jalen Waddle. However, the issue is when you got 2 of them. Like, you literally got 2 guys that run 4.3 at the slowest. like outside on the outside. So I mean, again, but yeah, if you take away Tyreek Hill, yeah, that's a 10-point victory by us, no problem.
All right. Well, I don't know if Chris has known about this, but we do have a big Tua debate. So if you want to wager in here and be the deciding vote, obviously we are two different ends of this, but what were your takeaways from this back and forth game?
Well, this is definitely the worst former NFL guest you've had on as far as knowing and watching recent football, because I can't say I've watched the full game of Tua play. I got to start watching football again. I do actually.
It's all good, yeah.
But I will say this. I remember being an avid football fan in high school, an avid Peyton Manning fan. And one thing I always leaned on when I said that Peyton Manning was better than Tom Brady, and now it's obviously become hard to say that because there's something about clutch and winning like 17 Super Bowls. So I guess Tom Brady proved me wrong there. But at the time, before Tom had won 17 Super Bowls, and when Tom had like 6, I was always a big fan of stats. I think stats are very real, and you can't kind of deny them. Is there flukes? There absolutely is. But if somebody put up over 400 yards and threw 3-4 passing touchdowns, I guess Tua could potentially be the real deal. Probably not, but we'll see.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%.
The only reason I say probably not. I'm sorry. The only reason I say probably not is because honestly, I feel like. I mean, I feel like it's a reality. It's so hard to be an NFL starting quarterback and become that guy that the odds are against everybody. I mean, Danny Jones, Tua, Justin Fields, all these guys. It's so much easier to guess that they're not going to become franchise quarterbacks because that is how hard it is to do that.
Yeah. I mean, to be a Tom Brady or a Peyton Manning is
yeah. I don't think we'll ever see another Tom Brady. Yeah, and it's crazy because Tom Brady actually converted me over too. When I was younger, I was saying the same thing. I loved Omaha blue 42 set hut. Throw the ball to Wayne or Harrison. Like I loved it. So that was my guy. But again, it's just when I mean that Colts defense is great. He had Dwight Freeney, guys was great. But it's like if you look at it, Tom Brady, while Peyton's yelling out Omaha, Tom Brady just win another Super Bowl, add on another Super Bowl, and I'm just like, all right, now it's not, it really is. It's hard to debate here, like Peyton, like it's hard, but
Yeah, I mean, no, of course you can't debate it now. He won too many Super Bowls. I still wish that that Peyton would have won a couple more, so I could be right.
Right.
Now you can't debate that, I guess. But I mean, honestly though, you could also, I don't know, Tom Brady's pretty great, but if you broke down the film, I mean, Peyton Manning was extremely.
Peyton Manning was the real deal.
He was.
Peyton Manning was the real deal. Yeah. I'm talking about he'll go out there.
He'll do it to control a game and audible and really just be completely dominant and demoralize the defense. Now, could Tom Brady do that as well? Yeah, he absolutely could. Did he do it for a longer period of time, more consistently? He did. But I would still say this, actually. The level of dominance that Peyton Manning would show against defenses, I don't know that any quarterback, now I'm being just a big Peyton Manning fan, to use the nicest word there. But, he was really good.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm talking about Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was like the point guard for both teams. He facilitated how the game went. I mean, like I remember just being younger, like when I was first getting into football, just watching him at the line, call out things, adjust the play because he know that the backer is coming from the weak side, so he's going to adjust the play to run away from. Like just the way he would do things was just absolutely ridiculous. But to get back to this whole Tua situation here, he threw for 466. I would also argue that anybody
Spanish flowers
that anybody listen, and I mean I'm not saying this to be funny, and I will throw this out here right now, and for anybody who listening, go check me out because I'm off top of the head with it. I'm pretty sure Patrick Mahomes' numbers when he had Tyreek Hill were astonishing, and he's Patrick Mahomes. I'm not gonna say anything take away from him, but I mean his numbers. Not talking about his success. Obviously, he got a Super Bowl last year, but I'm pretty sure his numbers took a decent hit because he didn't have that game breaker that was Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is literally like a firecracker. Like, and you pop him every play if you want to. Like, this guy is
Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he will turn a smoke screen or a simple out route or speed out or a dig, a slant. He's a threat to go to the house. If you miss a tackle and he gets about 3-4 good steps in upfield, you're essentially at his mercy. It's not much. You can have the angle at him and he'll still make you look slow. So it's like, we can say, when you're playing with that, I mean, huge props obviously for the Dolphins getting them. But yeah, no, great win for Tua. He did what he was supposed to do. He showed out week 1. If there was a Super Bowl trophy to hand out for week 1, he would be in consideration. But luckily we got 17, 16 more of these, so we'll see more about him.
Well, now that we have an injury in the AFC, I'm changing my pick. They are now making the postseason.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I feel like we are. Everybody. I feel like we should all have our a
take twos.
Yeah, we should all have a take 2 on that. But we'll get there. Another huge game. Matter of fact, not so much of a huge game. We're gonna go because Glenn's from Philly. So let's sit here and talk about these Philadelphia Eagles versus the New England Patriots. So Glenn, your Eagles got the win. Jalen Hurts threw for about 170 yards more than me and you. Only 5 points, to beat the New England Patriots, who defense played a pretty solid game, if you ask me. What was your takeaway from your Eagles beating these Patriots?
I'm going to be honest. I would be lying if I said I wasn't expecting a big win. And I thought we were going to be dominant. I thought we were going to really dominate this game. But the Patriots are always good. So, I mean, to be in a close game with them, especially in Foxborough, they got a very solid big Mac Jones guy. I really like him. And obviously, any team coached by Belichick is going to be good. But for me, I think the defense won us this game. We punched them in the mouth early, going up 16-0. We had Slay's pick 6 and getting a fumble recovery on the 30. Definitely helps an easy drive. Personally, Hurts didn't look great, if you ask me. He didn't look very well. He didn't look comfortable. He looked like we honestly looked like he was trying to run too much, and he was just getting down a good bit. But I think if he gets comfortable in his rhythm, stays in his zone, let his offensive line, like the Mahomes theory, let his offensive line work for him and then make the plays when he needs to, it'll be a lot more successful. But, I think that all in all, our offense played well. I don't know why we didn't use DeAndre Swift at all. He had 1 rushing attempt.
Yeah, only 1 rush. Yeah.
Really pushing Kenneth Gainwell, which, I mean, I'm not against Kenneth Gainwell or anything, but you go out and you get DeAndre Swift, and oh my God, you got DeAndre Swift, and then use him for one rushing attempt. I mean, it's just a little strange in my book. But, I think the defense stepped up big. Got our big stops when needed, and held off the attack. Shout outs to Jake Elliott for stepping up big with the field goals. And all in all, I think it was a solid game. And I think it's a good win. Nothing to write home about. Oh my God, we beat the Patriots. That's amazing. But it's a good, solid win, especially it being in Foxborough.
Definitely. I mean, like I said, I definitely feel you. Chris, I know, obviously given the Eagles got to the Super Bowl last year, how difficult do you think it is for those guys to repeat to get to where they were last year but this time obviously win it? Like, I think a lot of people think, like Glenn, they think it's just easy. Oh, we're just gonna get there. Last year we got there, and we're just gonna get back to the Super Bowl again. But this time we're gonna win it. Like, can you speak to how difficult do you think it is to be able to repeat as far as Super Bowl appearance, but try to get a victory in that game?
It really is a brand new year every year, even though people keep saying this, but usually things that people keep saying are true. That's why they keep saying them. And when a team wins a Super Bowl, they don't get there, I would say, because they're just kind of like, oh, we're going to get there this year. We're the best. I mean, yes, there's something to be said about confidence, but I would argue that getting to the Super Bowl, just making the playoffs in the NFL, and then running through the playoffs, making it to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, that's more than confidence. That's just grit, extreme want to, and everybody being more selfless than everybody on the 31 other teams. And more, and by selfless, what I really mean by that in the NFL game especially, it's leaving aside a little bit the professionalism and really like wanting to do something special with the group that you're with. Because as a professional, honestly, I mean, this is something that the fans are not maybe opened up to as much, but especially with, what your agent tells you and what you know yourself, you look at it like a business. Your body is the way you make money, and you have to be calculated about every expense that you put on your body. But, I mean, you see what guys do in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl, that makes them great. They're not good business decisions. They play hurt. Mahomes playing with his ankle, I think, last Super Bowl, right? Yep. So when those guys are doing that, the agents are sitting there, and their financial advisors and everybody that's in their best interest are sitting there saying, get off the field, stop doing this. But that is what it takes to win a Super Bowl, I feel. That's a big part of it, right? It's really everybody being like, man, we have a chance to do something special this year, and we're willing to even sacrifice our longevities to all accomplish it. So it's really an intense, strong thing, I think, and first you have to believe you can do it, and the coach has to instill that culture, and that's obviously what training camp is, and that's what coaching is. But yeah, I mean, it's such a long ride, such a grueling, long journey, that for a team to do it a second time, if I may make this comparison, it's kind of like having an amazing workout one morning where you just like work out for an hour and a half and you almost die, and then after that workout, you feel amazing. You have so much adrenaline. You're like, man, I should work out like this every single day. But when the alarm hits the next day after a workout like that, you're like, hell no. You're like, not trying to do that.
Right.
So I feel like, in a way, there's moments in the season that come where they're like, man, we know what it takes to play in February. We really try to do that. It's hard. So it's really hard to do it. And with John, that's why it's so amazing that teams like the Patriots and I mean, who else? It's funny because nobody else.
Cowboys back in the days.
There's other teams that have won it a lot, but yeah, it's really impressive when a group of people win a lot of Super Bowls.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah. I feel like and I love the comparison you made, like looking at it from like your body is your business. Like everybody's like in professional sports, everybody's body is like that's their business. Like Dak Prescott's body, that's Dak Prescott Inc. Like Patrick Mahomes, that's Patrick Mahomes Inc. Like that's their individual that's their individual businesses. And like I say, the way you look at it, and many people don't understand that sacrifice. I feel like the playoffs is obviously it's extended play. You look at it in sports like basketball. A lot of people get derailed late in seasons because their body having to withstand that physical requirement needed to compete at a high level. For extended time. It's essentially best man win. Like the most fit wins. So and like I say, it also takes a huge level of buy-in. Like not just the starters. Like everybody has to be brought into the same goal. So like if they're trying to get an organization of people to get brought into the same goal, obviously isn't always the easiest things because there's only one team that can stand at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, I agree with you, and I feel like for Glenn's Eagles, for those guys to repeat or whatever, it's going to take a huge, whatever I feel like whatever the dedication was last year, it's times 2 at least this year. Like you got to be because it's like now that much more important because you got a taste of it. There's nothing worse than having a taste of something that you really, really, really enjoyed, but you only had a taste of. You didn't get a chance for the whole meal. You just got a taste of it. And in order for you to get back to the top of that journey, you got to go through it. You got to go through the journey. So, all in all, like I said, I feel like the way you broke down it, how you broke it down just now, essentially does make sense for everybody out there listening. Like that's really what it's about. You say, you got those guys look at it. I'm pretty sure almost all agents do exactly what you just mentioned. Like I want my guy off the field. This is risky. You got I'm pretty sure sleepless nights because it's like you say, that's their money. You got a guy gets a bad injury. Next thing you know, contracts that were talked about, deals now they're essentially almost out the window. So like I say, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's almost every agent's mindset, for sure. You talking, Glenn? I can't hear you. There you go.
Yeah, I kept jamming the shit out. Talk about hitting the microphone button trying to get on.
Right. Yeah. No, we've all been there though. I've hit the hell out of that snooze button. I woke up. got a great workout in. I got in the shower, washed. I went to worked like 12 hours. I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it again in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
3 o'clock roll around. I'm going back to sleep. I'll be up at 5:50. We'll get ready for work at 7. I'm not doing it.
When you have that first day, it's like, oh, I'm doing this every single day.
That's why
I'm talking about you walk out the gym, chest poked out, just walking.
Wow. I'm him. You're just saying I'm him in the mirror that day, right?
Right.
Yeah. And that doesn't work.
When people ask me how they should work out or what's a good workout plan, I say something relatively easy that is sustainable. Like for people that are just getting started too, that don't consistently work out, because I'm like, if you're not working out and you're trying to get into working out, don't go sign up for the craziest workout class you've ever heard of, and because you're gonna maybe last a week, but chances are you're not gonna stick to it as much. I feel like go do something that's relatively easy. Do that for 2-3 weeks straight, and then bump it up a notch little by little and create a lifestyle of working out, right? I mean, yeah, because when you work out really hard, you feel great after, but then next time it's time to work out, you're like, man, I don't want to do that again.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. I mean,
it's a
in the
5-minute rule, they say. Just do something for 5 minutes a day just to get a routine, a habit of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you got to build. If like anybody you got to build consistency. If you can't build consistency, then it's not going to work. Like you mentioned, going out there trying to get the first day, trying to do the crazy workouts. I'm gonna do. If this right here is my max, I'm gonna do like 20 pounds more than that every day. Like it's not. But 100%. Speaking of 100%. That is what the Giants did not give against the Cowboys.
Oh, you guys got a script over here, man. You guys are
Cowboys. They could have essentially
personally, I don't think that's how that goes.
Anybody they wanted to.
Me personally, he's trying to go on, right? You can't steal mine. 100% is mine. Me personally, I think you just stole that line. Jay's frozen. Dang it. Just one at a time. I think he wants to talk about his... Okay. Yeah, you said 100%. I don't know if you caught. I don't know how much of that you caught, Jay. Oh, it's kind of getting me. I don't know. Well, yeah, no, he's a big Cowboys guy this year. He hates the Cowboys normally, but apparently he's now.
I got a good story on the Cowboys.
Do tell.
So I have Danny Jones and Isaiah Hodgins on my fantasy team. So obviously my team is very Giants-based. And I was like, okay, Giants just lost 40-0. I didn't catch that game at all. I meant to. Anyway, didn't catch the game. I said, there's no reason to check for my fantasy team because they clearly lost. I have Danny Jones and Isaiah Hodgins. Who else do I have? I'm looking at my team right now.
That's awesome.
That was the only Giants I had playing. So, well, guess who else I had? I had Dallas's defense. So,
ooh, there we go.
Come on, fantasy.
Week 1 somehow with Danny. Yeah.
Oh man, I had a great intro just now to it. Like we talking about 100%. And I said, speaking of 100%, that's what the Giants did not do Sunday night against the Giants. Against the Cowboys.
Wait, so you didn't hear any of the dialogue back and forth?
No, it froze on me.
Oh my God, I was joking. I said you stole my line. Me personally, I think you stole my line, saying 100% like that.
Man, I'm getting a lot of Skip Bayless vibes from Jay. A lot of Skip Bayless.
Oh my, you have no idea. You have no idea. Our last episode, I was literally we said the exact same thing. You ever hear the scene where he goes, "It's my turn. It's enough. It's my turn." I did that. Yeah, he's done it to me. We do that all the time. But I was going back and forth like, Jay, you're playing both sides of the coin.
I got a question about that. This is a podcast question. I'm sure the viewers might enjoy this. Everyone's trying to do a podcast, right? So people like small clips, So like if you guys have a rant like that where Jay smacks the table or something, do you have an editor that helps you? Like you just tell him, hey, cut this up for me at this, or Glenn, do you do that? Jay, do you do that? How do you guys go about cutting up little mini clips for Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, we do a variety with the site. Where you can, if you guys don't, but we do the variety. We used to have an editor for a while there, but then we just switched. What's the point if we can do it ourselves? Might as well. But so we'll make certain clips. In fact, that one was so good yesterday. We put our shows up basically raw because we want everything to just happen how it happened. It doesn't look like we're making anything up. Just no takes. Just once we hit record, we record to the end. But that thing was so good. Sometimes we'll like clip certain parts of an episode and put it out because it was just a funny segment. But yeah, no, if the apps we use, we'll make little clips from it. We'll write it down and add some music to it and put it up there to be because it's some of our best stuff. We want to get it out there and get.
No, I know that's very labor intensive too. I've tried to do content myself, and I have a little mini YouTube channel, and I had my spurts where I did it, but it's very labor intensive to do content and to cut things up into little segments.
Right. Oh yeah, it's definitely it definitely takes a huge bit. Like I say, just what Glenn said. Like I say, we have a situation. We feel like is worthy of a edit, of a cut. So we'll just take that segment, just take like 15, 20 seconds or whatever, take it, and we'll add something to it, or throughout the conversation. I know we had one where we were talking where I said Taylor Swift instead of DeAndre Swift or whatever his kid's name. So I said that, and like when I said Taylor Swift, I had it to where it zoomed in on Glenn because he was doing something. When I said Taylor Swift, he just threw his head up, and it zoomed in on him doing that. So I mean, really, that's how we go about it. Just like going, get the clip that we like, take the part. Because honestly, what I've realized just the way how we do the shows, we make a lot of clip-worthy things just off of us naturally being us. So I mean, it's like we just take a segment out and we just just toy around with that, and just that's one of our clips.
That's the way it goes. Yeah, it's just being goofy. So playing on the show. And
then All Out Sport. Sorry, this is my last production question. How did you guys get around to All Out Sports being the name?
Try to point to Jay.
Oh man, that is a hell of a question.
All day.
Forgot how.
All day, man. I'm tripping. Well, hey, you can put that in a blue.
No. You're right about the name. I'm saying I'm pointing to him all day long because it was his idea.
Oh, I thought you said all day. I was like,
No, you're right. That is a absolute, like, you ever had one of those questions somebody asked, and it's like, it's something that was good that you did, and you're like, I forgot I don't know how I did it. I really don't know how I did. I do remember. It's crazy because like last year around this time when we started, about last year, about a month ago, so like about 13 months. I was actually working here at this store, but I was a full timer. I wasn't a manager or anything, and I was pacing back and forth like through these doggone, like literally pacing back and forth in this very building with my manager or whatever. We were just talking. I'm like, me and my guy about to get this podcast. I need some ideas, and I was just thinking the name. Just no, that sounds corny. No, that sounds like this. That sounds, and then I guess it just clicked. It was like All Out. Then I started.
We had a group of, so it was supposed to be me, Jay, and these two other guys. We're gonna group of guys. We all put us out, and we're like, all right, just shoot out name ideas, and we're all putting out one at a time. Me and these other two guys, we're just putting little stuff out, and then Jay comes with a list of like 30 names, and they're all great, and we're all decided. I was like, All Out. That's got to be it. That's just too good, and then it just clicked, and then I went and tried to make a logo with Wix.com. It's pretty quick, got it done, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it cut out on me just now, but exactly what Glenn just mentioned. We definitely had like people. We were just throwing out random names, and then like I say, I mean, it was. I came up with the name, and then Glenn, it's like I handed the football to Glenn, and Glenn just ran it in for the touchdown, and that's why we're here now. So. Right, exactly. I mean, I don't want to be Brock Purdy. Don't tell Christian McCaffrey. I don't want to be Brock Purdy.
Oh, don't be. Yeah, you better eat those words. That man balled against Pittsburgh yesterday. Balled, or 2 days ago.
Yeah, I'm like he did ball. I'm not even gonna lie. But yeah. Well, I guess I'll be. Well, I'm not gonna be Brock Purdy. But yeah, essentially that's what we did.
Your choices are Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, or Jimmy Garoppolo. Pick one. Or Sam Darnold. Which one you want?
Jimmy Garoppolo, Sam Darnold, or who were the other two?
Trey Lance and Brock Purdy.
And who's the other one? Brock who?
Purdy.
Man, I gotta watch football again. I'm gonna have to just pick Jimmy Garoppolo because that's the only sure bet I know.
Yeah, I think
he's always
totem pole.
But the bottom of Jay's barrel is Jimmy Garoppolo, Kirk Cousins and or third Cousins, as he says.
Yeah, third Cousins.
And that's his bottom three.
Yeah, third
Jimmy,
Cousins.
I've always been a Jimmy G guy. Just
Wait,
wins.
I think Kirk Cousins is good, but I think you think he's like top 3 in the NFL.
No, the top 3 isn't like bad, like top 3 bad, like guys I'm not rooting for. like
Sorry, guys, my Dell laptop is not doing a great job with the sound, but yeah.
Oh no, it's all good. But yeah, like no, I'm not
making for good content.
I'm not a Jimmy G supporter. I'm not a Kirk Cousins supporter at all. You ask me, I think he's truly what holds the Vikings back. Yeah, but yeah, no, I think he's horrible. I do think this. I think Kyle Shanahan has literally proved to us.
You like that? You like that?
You like that? You like that?
Every time he said, "You like that?" He told him.
Yeah, exactly. Like he didn't ask him. He told, like, anytime you say you like that, you're assuming you're asking the question, or the person receiving it, like you're asking me, "Do I like it?" No. I told you like that. Like,
no choice.
But I do feel like Kyle Shanahan has literally confirmed to everybody that we can pull a fan out of the stands and surround him with Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Kittle, and obviously the future Hall of Famer, offensive lineman that they have, and with that defense, you will have success. And they literally, like, that might be one of the hugest flexes ever. Like, they literally took Mr. Irrelevant and made him into a starting quarterback for a actual contending team. That is they. I mean,
Baller.
Those guys are great. I mean, you walk in, you go to the Super Bowl, you draft the you draft a quarterback who's unproven, who's thrown less than 400 snaps, collegiate or pros, still to this, I think 500 snaps less. Then you bring it, you play said quarterback got your Super Bowl. You bench him, you bring in the rookie guy. He starts next season. The guy who took you to the Super Bowl is on the bench. Quarterback gets hurt. You now got to go back to the guy off the bench who took you to the Super Bowl. He gets hurt. You got to play Mr. Irrelevant. And he is essentially undefeated outside of that playoff game that he didn't finish. It's truly remarkable. Like Kyle Shanahan is the absolute mastermind of what he does. Right, that's exactly what he is. He's a baller. But
Purdy.
Oh, you talking about Kyle Shanahan?
No.
You mean to say Kyle Shanahan? But it's all good. But yeah, so not the fast track is here. It was one more game. Oh, we obviously got to talk about we talked about the Cowboys.
Let's talk fantasy teams real quick, and then we'll link that to the Cowboys.
All right, cool. Yeah, we got the best fantasy guy in the league right here. I put up a pretty pedestrian performance, to say the least. Could have been better. I did not expect Gainwell to play as much as he did. I was listening to you. I thought Taylor Swift was going to get a majority of the carries. Obviously not.
I'm still on, what is a pedestrian game? What is that?
A regular average game.
Just a regular game? Okay,
yeah, just a regular day in the office for me. Yeah, I mean, I feel like whenever you put up numbers like I do in and out, don't forget that I won the NHL. Don't forget. It's just.
Believe me, you don't let me. Whether I want to forget it or not, you won't let me.
Yeah, Chris. Last year, we made our predictions on hockey, and I decided that I wanted to go with the Las Vegas Golden Knights. I made the prediction at the beginning of the year, having watched not a single puck get shot into a goal in real time, and somehow I get the right pick. So I think I got the juice when it come down to sports. But yeah, my fantasy team did great. I feel bad for whoever my opponent is next week. It's gonna be a long week for him.
God, I hope it's me. I can't wait. I hope.
Yeah, I hope it is the. What is your fantasy team name again? The Dirty Dogs.
Michael Vick's Dogs.
Michael Vick's Dogs.
Dogs.
Yeah.
been my go-to name for a while. I had the worst week in the league. I lost and I got the least amount of points. So I'm about the bottom of the barrel right now because Lamar Jackson and DeAndre Swift didn't want to do anything, and Amari Cooper didn't show up as much as I expected. But still early. It's only week 1, of course. But yeah, did not have the greatest of weeks, I would say. But yeah, who do we have next week again? But yeah, team. What is your team? Full team, Chris. I saw you said you had.
So my full team is, let's see here, pull this up. I gotta get my football knowledge back, man. I used to know all my guys. You know what? I might have to special appear. I'm just gonna plug myself in here without the invite about a month from now and show off the football talent I decided to acquire.
There we go.
Here's my team. Danny Jones. I feel so bad. I'm like, man, people are naming NFL guys. I don't even know them anymore. Anyway, I like football. I ought to watch some NFL again. Danny Jones. We know who that is. This is awful. I had to click on this guy. Marquise Brown, which is a great player, actually. Yep. Are you guys Madden players?
Yeah.
I grew up playing Madden. That's all I did was play Madden when I was younger.
Yeah, no, I just randomly thought of that because I remember Marquise Brown from playing some Madden, but I love playing Madden. I haven't played that in a while too, but anyway. Donovan People-Jones.
Yep.
Got him. Aaron Jones, Packers running back. I think he was a nice pick.
He balled week 1.
Dobbins, Baltimore's running back. Okonkwo, Tennessee's tight end. Dalvin Cook, Jets running back. Laporta, Detroit tight end. Bass, kicker, then Dallas defense, which is my best player.
Dallas defense is going to win your MVP.
Yes.
Oh my God. Well, how many people
the league I'm in actually values defense more, and I forget exactly how they do it, but I know they value them more, and they also value receptions more, which I actually like because obviously that has value to it. You know, it means you're reliable as a player and all that good stuff.
Yeah, no, I do feel you on that.
League?
How many teams do we have? I think we have 8 teams here. Yeah, 8 teams in this league.
8? I got you. Well, that's dummy. I'm trusting. Yeah, you said Isaiah Hodgins is one of your guys. He didn't have a great week 1, but nobody on the Giants did. I still trust him to be a star.
Oh, no, we got 12 teams.
12 teams.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I do. I like how you said Dallas the best player. Dallas defense is absolutely something to be reckoned with. So you're in good stands with that defense.
Yeah, actually, I have Geno Smith, who's my other quarterback, and I think that you guys are probably going to also agree. I mean, maybe Danny Jones will turn it around. I mean, it's only one game, but Geno Smith might be more of a short bet than Danny Jones, I think. More consistent.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You ain't even got to question it. 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
There are speculations that Daniel Jones is a better running back than quarterback. That's what people are saying. But in due fairness, I don't think that the Giants put receivers around him. They got a great tight end, but they don't. I still don't know those guys' name at receiver. But yeah, he's a better running back than a tight end. So, but yeah, that's all. He's a better running back than quarterback. But yeah, like I said, you got a pretty solid team there.
Appreciate that.
Did you win week 1 or?
I did win week 1. I did, even with that awful quarterback performance. I hate to keep bringing up Danny Jones' bad performance, but being a Giants fan myself.
Giants, back-to-back Giants fans, Jeff.
Well, listen, you got courage and guts to actually admit that. Because, yeah, that was.
Damn, the Giants, huh? Are you that confident in your Cowboys that you really think they're gonna dominate?
Stop it!
Get some help.
Listen, don't listen to this man here. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm a realist.
No.
I'm a football
realist. Listen to the last episode and tell me what you think.
Yes, I have the Dallas Cowboys going to the Super Bowl. Why do I got Dallas Cowboys going to the Super Bowl? Because it's pretty self-explanatory. They got arguably best defense in the league. Like, their issue last year was anytime that they needed some yardage, they would just go and target the other corner opposite of Trayvon Diggs. Now you can't do that. So that they can send their front 8. They can send like waves of guys at you. I mean, I'm sorry, their front 7. They can send like waves of guys at you, and like all of them produce. So I'm just a huge believer in their defense. And I mean, I'm not a fan of Dak, but he was the quarterback of a team that was like top 5 offense last year as well. So I mean, again, just being a realist, it's either Brock Purdy, Glenn's Eagles, or the Cowboys. So I had to go with the latter. But yeah, no, excuse me. They put up an absolute demolition job on the Giants. I'm like you, Chris. I really hope that the Giants, look at it. Hey, it's just week 1. I am 100% not a fan of what Kadarius Toney did by dropping everything he possibly could in the game against the Lions. He deletes his Instagram because the Kansas City Chiefs fans are burying him too much. But he reactivates his Instagram just to poke fun at the Giants, and then deletes it again. But I wouldn't take it to that level. But at the end of the day, the Giants got to get their act together, because what they put on TV Sunday night was absolutely pathetic.
Yeah, that was not even an attempt to look good. That was just everything about that was bad.
Right.
But
they're
gonna bounce back next week. I got a hunch. I think I'm picking them again. I picked them this week. I'm picking them again because they just got too much talent, I think, on both sides of the ball. It should not be a very admirable team this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely pick them against your Eagles. Don't worry about it. But moving on to our obviously last game here, probably the most bittersweet.
I'll stick to that.
Well, I wouldn't say bittersweet, but the most saddening game, the Jets versus the Bills. Aaron Rodgers getting hurt, first drive, absolutely heartbreaking. It looks like he's, in love with football again. He's, doing his thing. He's heavily engaged in the offseason, hard knocks, the whole 9. And for him to get an Achilles injury, and then obviously Achilles is equivalent to, you might as well not even think about suiting up for the rest of the season. Like for him to get that, obviously heartbreaking. Hopefully he comes back. Hopefully that's not the last time we see him in a football jersey where he's actually active in the game. But yeah, man, tough injury. However, the Jets still won the game because I think nobody felt worse for Aaron Rodgers than Josh Allen, because he kept gifting the Jets the ball. So I think he took it more personal than anybody else. He must have been Aaron Rodgers must have been his idol or something. The way that he was the best player for the Jets last night, and it wasn't even close.
The best wide receiver for the Bills last night was on the Jets. So.
Right, yeah, like I said, that was the best player last night. The best player for the Jets was Josh Allen. But yeah, you got any takeaways from that game? Jets Bills last night.
Wild. Zach Wilson revenge tour, maybe? Question mark. But sad news for Rodgers to go down on the Achilles. A lot of people talking about the turf, and if that whole turf grass debate, if that's a thing still. But yeah, that was something I saw. I also saw that some dude tweeted that it was going to happen 5 hours before it did, so that's a little strange. But yeah, it's sad to see that happen. Crazy ending though to the game. Still made for great entertainment. Bills late tying field goal, and then next possession kick return for the win. So crazy all around. But yeah, Chris, what are your takeaways from it?
Chris, I got a question for you, Chris. Talk to us from a guy obviously playing football. What is your argument with playing on grass versus playing on turf? Like, do you personally got a claim in that, or it doesn't really make you any different?
I'd say there's good grass and good turf, but I think everybody would say that too. But if it's really well kept grass, yeah, for sure. I mean, and honestly, for the most part, grass, unless it's not well kept. No, turf is your cleats get stuck in it a little bit more, so more rolled ankles, more knees. No, and it's I in many ways I kind of just played the game. I didn't put a lot of thought into it. Well, I mean, I put a lot of thought into the game, but not a lot of thought to things like that, which is still part of the game.
Yeah.
But no, especially now being away from it, thinking about it more, and I've heard this argument be made, and I think the players are absolutely right, and it's probably just a matter of time before everybody has really high quality grass. I mean, everybody has grass, has high quality grass in the NFL, I think. Maybe some disagree, maybe, but yeah. No, they should do that. They make too much money to not make it as safe as possible, and there's more injuries on turf, I think, right? So they should have that. They're absolutely already late on that.
Yeah,
Sure
but I mean, I feel like even if you look at it, they're making I don't know what's, I think it's like soccer tournament or something coming to the U.S. next year, or something's coming to the U.S. and they're making it. They're going out of their way to make sure it's all grass. So they're already in place with doing things like that for certain areas in the sports world. Why not make the most televised sport probably outside of soccer? Like, why not make sure that those guys, like, go, let's fix the issue here. Let's fix the issue for our players on these fields. I mean, if it's, because I will say, like, one of the first times I got introduced to, like, man, this turf life sucks. When I was in high school, I got invited to a football kind of camp thingy at South Carolina State, and my school, what I went to high school at, was like 20 minutes away. So it was okay, cool. So me and a couple guys went, and it was boiling hot that summer. And I'm talking about the turf made it that much worse. I mean, you couldn't, like, we're out there running, we didn't have on pads, thankfully, but, planting, driving, DB drills, hands, all that cool stuff. Like, it's so uncalled for extra heat versus in grass. I feel like, like grass, I mean, as you mentioned, you can stick your cleat in grass and, plan out of it, and, you probably got way more better movement versus turf. So
correct. And yeah, it does make it extremely more hot.
Oh man, yeah, it is absolutely scorching. Imagine a day in the middle, a random day in the middle of the summer, and you're out there just running around catching footballs. And you're not on the grass, you're on the turf.
I think it actually makes it colder too. I think, if I remember, I think it does. Like, because it's one more solid thing. It's harder when it's cold. Yeah, I remember guys saying that. Yeah, no, it is. It is.
Yeah, like I said again,
it is. I'm saying guys saying that like I didn't experience myself. I remember we played at Miami of Ohio in college, and it was turf, and you went out into the middle of the field, and it was way colder than the sideline. Plenty cold in the sideline. And in the same way, we played at Baylor, and it was turf, and the field was 127. And the temperature was like 109 or something. So it was like 20 degrees hotter from the turf, from the field. I remember just drenched in sweat. Cleats were like basically like boats at that point, just carrying water in them. It was
right. 108, but 127 real field.
Yeah, that was one of the craziest, most uncomfortable games I played. I played some uncomfortable
Y'all playing
games.
in the desert. Oh my!
It was actually the same season. The Miami of Ohio. Yeah. The Miami of Ohio game I just mentioned. It was the same season. It was minus 27 feel, and we played a 127 feel earlier in the year, the same year. So it was pretty interesting.
Yeah, y'all got extreme. That's extreme weather differences right there. Like y'all playing in Alaska. Yeah, y'all playing in Alaska one game, and y'all playing in the middle of Arizona the next. Like, holy.
Yeah, it was Ohio later in the season, and it was Baylor at Baylor, first game of the season. I think for second. Yeah.
That's crazy, but yeah, like I said, I mean, it is definitely something that the NFL should heavily look into. Like I said again, with how we mentioned earlier, how the league is.
It is. That sucks. That sucks for Aaron. It sucks for the game. He was going to be a huge storyline this year. I was actually kind of pumped for the Jets myself. I mean, I'm a Giants fan. I never hated on the Jets, and I was like, this is going to be cool because you'll get to see a case in point. We've seen it before, too, with Tom Brady going to the Buccaneers, but you see another case in point of what a difference a quarterback makes, and obviously the people he brings with him, but unfortunately, we won't get to see that this year. Yeah.
That's not the dream scenario for any of them. It's the worst case scenario, actually. But yeah, it's a bummer for many different ways, both as a fan and just for the Jets themselves. Very upsetting. Yeah. Well, hopefully he can not have that be his last game. Maybe he's healthy enough next year and just comes back, same deal. Yeah. But yeah, gentlemen, have any more games you'd like to discuss tonight, or anything? I think we're all set. That will then wrap us up then. Chris, thank you so much for hopping on tonight. You were great telling the story, insights in the NFL, and all that great stuff. A lot of formative stuff too. Outside sport, that's cool. So yeah, great having you on. Again, you're welcome anytime if you want to come on the show or have another party time in Nashville with my dad. That'd be great too. Whatever works best.
I'm in for both of those. Maybe we can combine that. Maybe next time I see your dad in Nashville, we can do a live show over there.
Best of both worlds. There we go. That's perfect.
No, but really, thank you very much for having me and reigniting my passion for being an NFL fan and a football fan a little bit. I enjoyed being a part of the conversation.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it, Jake. Appreciate you guys, and congrats on 108. That's awesome.
Thank you, my guy. Appreciate it a lot. Well, yeah, y'all have a great rest of your night. We will see y'all soon, and have a good one, all right?